Yes.
So you want to get inside, and as we talk about getting you ready for the winter, let's talk about your house, right? Everything, common sense stuff. Check your pipes, your sump pump, your furnace, all of that. The time to plan is now. Make sure all of that is working. The State Emergency Management Agency this week wants to make sure everyone is prepared whenever a winter disaster happens. Let's get to 10 TV's Amy Steigerwald. She joins us now from inside the Emergency Operations Center. Amy, that is kind of like the hub central, if you will, whenever a disaster strikes.
It is, Angela. It's kind of where everything is watched. Freeze warnings, different weather warnings, and other power outages all across central Ohio. And really the state are tracked right here in this operations center, which is staffed 24/7. I'm joined this morning by Sandy. She is with the EMA. Thank you so much for waking up with us. Talk a little bit about, it's empty in here right now, but when something happens, it's pretty full.
So this is the State Emergency Operations Center, and when we have a disaster or an emergency situation, we can staff this room with our partners, and we can coordinate, and we can effectively communicate information as it needs to go out.
Yeah, and we were just talking, before this about last winter when we had those two really big storms, and we want people, if that's eventually going to be coming this winter, to prepare now for that, even though it's not quite that bad yet. What can they do this week specifically to kind of get ready?
Right. So planning is part of preparedness. So what we want you to do is prepare. We want you to plan. We want you to have preparing your home, preparing your vehicle, and preparing your family for winter.
Yeah, and things that we don't think about that we might need in our car. We were talking also before that, a coat, something as simple as a coat.
Yes. Sometimes when you get in your coat, in your car, you take off your jacket, you toss it in the back seat. But if you were to have a crash, you may not have your jacket on. So consider having a kit for your car, an emergency kit. You want to have flares, you want to have jumper cables, a blanket, snacks, different things like that. You also want to prepare your home. So make sure that your home is winterized and that you understand things like generator safety. That is extremely important to know.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for joining us this morning.
You.
All good things to think about, especially as the weather starts to get colder. And if you have more questions, we have all of the information linked right now under this story at 10tv.com. Live in Columbus, Amy Steigerwald for 10TV News.
All right, Amy, certainly a place that we want to tap into when that disaster happens. We can see how they all operate.
Great.
Yeah, definitely great. And by the way, as you leave the house, here's a little winter weather wisdom for you. Keep the heaters at least 3 feet from anything that can catch on fire. Also, only use those generators outside and at least 20 feet from your windows and doors. And finally, never, ever, ever use your oven to heat your home. Maybe sounds like common sense advice, but sometimes you just got to say
when you think about what we report, it bears repeating. We'll just say that.
Yes.
A lot of the time, those heating sources are near curtains. And, like, I have dogs. My dogs hit the curtains all the time. So you never know when things move around. Like, maybe you put it somewhere, but it's not that way. So.
Very true.